Хочу, чтобы меня услышали и простые граждане западных государств. Вас сейчас настойчиво пытаются убедить в том, что все ваши трудности – это результат каких-то враждебных действий России, что из вашего собственного кошелька надо оплатить борьбу с мифической русской угрозой. Все это ложь. А правда в том, что текущие проблемы, с которыми сталкиваются миллионы людей на Западе, стали результатом многолетних действий правящих элит их государств. Их ошибок, близорукости и амбиций. Эти элиты думают не о том, как улучшить жизнь своих граждан в западных странах. Они одержимы своими корыстными интересами и сверхприбылями.
И здесь опять лгут постоянно, извращают исторические факты, не прекращают нападки на нашу культуру, на русскую православную церковь, другие традиционные религиозные организации нашей страны. Посмотрите, что они делают со своими собственными народами. Разрушение семьи, культурной и национальной идентичности, извращение, издевательства над детьми вплоть до педофилии объявляются нормой их жизни.
On August 17th, about 4 months ago, I sent Prime Minister Albanese of Australia a letter in which I gave him warning that the Australian government's policy was promoting and encouraging anti-Semitism in Australia. I wrote, "Your call for a Palestinian state pours full fuel on the anti-Semitic fire. It rewards Hamas terrorism. It emboldens those who menace Australian Jews and encourages the Jew hatred now stalking your streets. Anti-Semitism is a cancer. It spreads when leaders stay silent. It retreats when leaders act. I call upon you to replace weakness with action, appeasement with resolve. Instead, Prime Minister, you replaced weakness with weakness and appeasement with more appeasement. Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You did nothing to curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country. You took no action. You let the disease spread. And the result is the horrific attacks on Jews we saw today. We saw an action of a brave man, turns out a Muslim brave man, and I salute him, that stopped one of these terrorists from killing innocent Jews. But it requires the action of your government, which you're not taking. And you have to, because history will not forgive hesitation and weakness. It will honor action and strength. That's what Israel expects of each of your governments in the West and elsewhere. Because the disease spreads and it will consume you as well. But we are worrying right now about our people, our safety, and we do not remain silent.
To the people of the United States, for decades, Russia and the United States have stood on opposite sides of many disagreements. But history has shown us something important. When our two nations choose cooperation, the world becomes more stable, safer, and humanity moves forward faster. Today, I want to remind everyone of a simple truth. Russia does not seek confrontation. We seek mutual respect, equal dialogue, and genuine frameworks for cooperation. Our peoples have stood side by side during decisive moments in world history, and we can do so again. There are many areas where both Russians and Americans want peace: science, energy, security, space exploration, and the protection of the planet we all share. I believe the future will be more secure if we speak to one another rather than about one another. Russia is ready to open new paths of dialogue for the benefit of both nations and for a world with fewer conflicts. I hope this message will be widely shared, because peace can only begin with understanding between people. Thank you.
The people trying to kill Jews in Israel and throughout the world want to kill you and me too. Radical Islam is an enemy of mankind. What's the connection between Syria and Australia? Radical Islam. Radical Islam wants to kill all the Jews. They want to kill 2 soldiers from Iowa. This is a religious war. They hate us because we're Christians, we're infidels, and they want to kill all the Jews. To the Australian government, you let your people down. The man who was killed, the rabbi that was killed in this attack, wrote a letter to the Prime Minister of Australia weeks ago asking him to reconsider recognizing the Palestinian state. To every Western government who's recognized a Palestinian state, you're rewarding killing Jews. It's the most irresponsible decision I can imagine. What state are you recognizing? Is it controlled by Hamas? What are you recognizing here? When you kill Jews, you get a state, you're going to get more killing of Jews. So I would urge the West to get tougher on radical Islam. The rabbi who begged the Prime Minister to reverse his decision to recognize the Palestinian state is now dead. And how could you not have better security given what's going on in Australia around a large gathering of our Jewish brothers and sisters on Hanukkah? As to Syria, would come here if they could. God bless President Trump for wanting to retaliate.
Yeah, I want to get back to Australia in a moment, but let me get to Syria in one more moment here, because are you questioning whether or not it was in fact a lone gunman from ISIS? Are you questioning that with what you just said about Syria?
I don't know, but I'm assuming it was a lone gunman. I want to know, was this person part of the security forces? In Afghanistan, we have instances of where people we were working with wound up shooting our soldiers. What kind of vetting system do we have regarding the Syrian security forces? That's a major difference between being part of the security forces or a lone gunman. I don't know. I do support working with the Syrian government, but we relieved all the sanctions against Syria, maybe too prematurely. Look at the attacks in Sweden. The statements coming from the Syrian leadership about Israel disturb me. So I want to revisit whether or not we should have more leverage against the Syrian government.
On Australia, this rabbi who sent the letter, are you saying and warning other nations not to recognize a Palestinian state?
I am telling you that if you recognize a Palestinian state after October the 7th, where you have not negotiated a new West Bank, a new Gaza free from Islamic terrorist control, you're incentivizing killing Jews. The signal is you attack and kill 1,200 Jewish people, the world will recognize a Palestinian state. The best way to get a Palestinian state is to kill Jews. That's what the message is being sent from Australia, France, and Germany. France can't even have a Christmas celebration because they're worried about radical Islam in their midst. So President Trump is right to retaliate. And as to Gaza, I reject a board of peace. I reject rebuilding Gaza until Hamas has been disarmed and destroyed. So this idea that we would rebuild Gaza before Hamas has been disarmed and destroyed makes no sense to me.
So this is all radical Islam, Senator. What do you want to see from President Trump in terms of assisting Australia right now?
I want President Trump to make a speech about what we're facing. Obama and Biden were wrecking balls. Obama withdrew all of our forces from Iraq. I begged him not to. I took over in Iraq and Syria. Raqqa, Syria became a launching pad for attacks against the West. President Trump destroyed the caliphate. President Biden withdrew from Afghanistan, setting in motion radicalization of the entire planet, Russia invading Ukraine. President Trump has been dealing with a wrecking ball of Obama and Biden. What would I like to see him do? Give Israel the green light to go in and finish off Hamas, destroy Hezbollah. If you can't get them to disarm diplomatically in Lebanon, come up with a military campaign to take Hezbollah down. Work with Israel to do that. The world will never be safe as long as Iran has proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah. Do not rebuild Gaza. Do not invest in Gaza until Hamas has been disarmed. Stand with Israel without apology. reject the idea that a Palestinian state is the right answer until the Palestinian state has been de-radicalized and demilitarized. What happened in Australia should be a word of warning. When you appease those who kill Jews, you get more killing of Jews. There's so much going on in the world right now. I really do appreciate President Trump. He has got a mess on his hands, from Obamacare to a broken border to a war in Russia, Ukraine, to radical Islam on the rise. I am so sorry to my Jewish brothers and sisters that the world is turning a blind eye yet again to those who wish to destroy the Jewish people. It seems to me that 80 years after the Holocaust, we should insist that the Iranian regime, which is the great evil to all of this, be dealt with. That we should destroy Hamas and Hezbollah to allow Saudi Arabia to recognize Israel. We have anti-Semitism in flames all over the planet, and we're not doing enough to push back.